Yes, dear friends, and we start with poly possum there, the first of our many critters. Uh, these wildlife shots were done over a period of the last 3 years, I guess, and they're chronological, as you can see by the dates in the lower right-hand corner. There are a lot of deer, and I hope you don't get bored by them, but I find them really beautiful. And these are carefully selected shots, actually. Often the camera would be in the same spot for several days, which gives you the opportunity to do those spooky dissolves, including from day to night and back. That's sort of fun. Uh, there's the Dobbs shed, shared by cat, armadillo, and possum and bunny alike. Probably rattlesnakes too. That poor possum, or one of them, crept into the dog fence part of the yard and was used in a tug of war game by the two giant pups. So I had a front half possum and a back half possum. Notice the weird eyes on these deer. That's because these are the ghosts of deer. Many, many deer have lived and died here. This is really their land. We're just kind of borrowing it from them. This whole thing is all shot around our fairly large outer yard and just off the driveway. The driveway is almost half a mile long, and there's woods on either side of it. And yeah, the animals definitely notice the camera. Oh, here's one of the creatures. That's my brother, Pinkney, who runs the goat ranch. He hand feeds these deer. He's around the old horse barn, now a goat barn and a chicken coop. That's with our little grandnephew, Henry, who's much larger now. But my brother comes around that area so often that the deer eat feed out of his hand. The main one he named Corn Tessa because he feeds him corn. The kid's about to cut my brother's throat. Yeah, these deer are standing just they're waiting for me to go away so they can go freeload off my brother some more. Shoo, dear, shoo. Fleas. That's our sister's house in the background. Oh, there's the ghostly old man, the weird deer. He sometimes turns into, strangely enough, a female deer or doe. Creepy old fellow. Oh, there he is again. I'm not sure what he's about to do. Look at the fuzzy little nubs on that one. The young male showing off his little nubby fuzzy nubs. And sniffing the camera. That's a pretty brave one. He just wants to know. I sometimes think they can see at night. I think maybe they somehow can see or sense the infrared light that comes on when they come nearby. It's motion controlled, of course. A little bit of a mix-up there. During the terrible heat wave of 2022, when it was over 100 for 3 months straight, my brother put out a big tub of water to help out the varmints. And there's quite a cast of characters that comes by this big tub of water, as you'll see, just about everything. We never saw any snakes on the wildlife camera, but we do encounter them in real life occasionally. I like hunting, but I prefer hunting with a camera. rather than a gun. And this was particularly easy kind of wildlife photography because I don't have to be there, but I do have to edit the stuff. Um, Usually I mark the files as they come in. When I finish a session, I grade what shots are good, and for this project I just pulled only the ones that were marked with an exclamation point at the end or the word good. Um, we never see those raccoons in real life, only on the wildlife camera, and yet they are everywhere. You can tell because they put their droppings on my fossils out, my outdoor fossil collections, or anything that we might consider a display. They like to add to it. Their poop is very distinctive because they eat the juniper berries, which are red, and so their poop is kind of bright red most of the time. This little possum has a bit of trouble staying on the rim there. I guess he doesn't want to swim like the raccoons do. At one point we see a fox and a coyote. That's a stray cat that might possibly be the sibling of the 3 cats that we have in the house. There were originally 4, and when their mom abandoned them, I was only able to find 3. And this might be the feral brother of my cat's middle Star-Lord and Dolomite. Steve French. This is a different stray cat there with a bobbed tail. We also have bobcats around here, but I haven't gotten one of those on this camera. There's a roadrunner. We see them, but they run so fast, and they actually do go bloop bloop and do somersaults on top of sleeping dogs. I've seen that happen. There's Army and Armet, the armadillos, and these bunnies are overpopulating here because when my brother started his chicken coop about 2 years ago, the bobcat quit eating the bunnies, the wild bunnies, and started raiding the chicken coop. Then my brother hated to do it, but he had to slay the bobcat, and now there's varmints everywhere, bunnies specifically. There's a little owl, a very small owl. And there's Dolomite walking away. This is all in the same spot. The camera is actually pointing toward the house, but there's trees between the camera and the house. My old Honda is parked on the side there, and there's this kind of a driveway light. Now here's another stray cat, a black cat. We see him or her or another one. Oh, there's the fox. The sly fox jumped over the lazy brown dog. There's that black cat again. We later see that cat up on my porch. Now see how close the deer come? The dogs are right at, the dogs live on the other side of that fence. So there's chupacabra or chupi. And of course they love to bark at the deer, whether the deer are there at the time or not. They bark at the deer just in general. That Chupi is the sweetest dog I've ever had. Oh, this is a sweet little doggy. I never have gotten to cuddle and play with this interesting little, or is it a cat? More of those later. This is all in the same spot on our, let's call it the back porch. There's that mystery cat. We have a black cat, but he's a tuxedo cat with white boots and a little white mask, like the Phantom of the Opera. This, however, this panther is from some other place. Sometimes I suspect that our cats get in a tussle with them. There's Dolomite. I've seen Dolomite come home with a torn ear. What was the name of that goat? It was Stash, not Panzer. Panzer was the previous billy goat. You only need one billy goat and 80 girls. And it was Stash Burley or something like that. I can't remember his name. Amazing horns on him. You'll see in a minute he uses them to scratch his back. Or he's using his hoof to scratch his head. Then he uses his horns to scratch his back. He's got a lovely voice. And as you can see, the chickens and goats live in peace together. Stash Burlington, that's it. Stash Burlington is his name. My brother is really excellent with animal names. He knows the name of every single goat that gets born there, and that's 80 new ones every year, every spring. And he knows the names of all the chickens. The chickens are named after Bond girls, starting with Miss Moneypenny. And of course, those little goats are as cute as they want to be. There's nothing like letting a baby goat walk across your back as you lay belly down in the goat dust. My sister's house was abandoned for a while, and the skunks moved in underneath. Oh, there's a fight. The wildlife camera only runs for 30 seconds, so we never found out who won. I had to adjust the contrast to be able to see them in there. Who knew that they hissed like that? I guess that's the winner. Probably beating his wife is probably what we just saw. I don't know. It took a while to get those guys out of there. My brother just trapped them one at a time. There's a possum over by our red reading shed. That shed has been transformed into a library. But underneath the sheds, that's where the cats, candy camera, the cats, possum, foxes, skunks, they all play poker under those sheds. Bluebonnets there. God, that area is so beautiful in bluebonnet season. Oh no, I might cut this. I was suffering terrible cramps, really, really terrible cramps in my legs and my thighs. Unbelievably painful. I was running a hot bath. I don't know why I had the camera in the bathroom. It wasn't to film me getting ready to take the hot bath. Just so painful. And the only cure is the hot bath. No, don't worry, you won't see anything. No need to freeze frame, girls. I was shriveled like a spider on a hot stove from pain. There's a nice buck, and there's a nice princess and Buddy. And there's somebody telling us what they think of this whole wildlife video camera thing. The ghostly, spooky deer. The horrible old man. The scary, horrible old man. This is a little deer trail off near the house. You can clearly see the deer trails. I used to trim them with a grass cutter and make them into proper human trails. The deer still used them. I can't really handle that machine well anymore. But the deer still make the trails, and they're quite usable. As in the colder months when there are no snakes. There's Gus, our old horse. He mostly just eats. And there's Pumi, our puma, our local puma. Never seen him in person, or her, I should say. I don't know. You believed me, didn't you? That was a clip I got off the Going On in Glen Rose Facebook page. When little deer aren't looking, they frolic and play in a way I never would have understood, because I don't sit in a deer blind watching them and then killing them. Old Gus again. He doesn't care. And there's the deer materializing in and out of that weird little black hole or optical migraine or whatever that is. Early in the morning. Hello, what is this machine put on this tripod? I do believe they're taking a picture of me. I think I'll pass on that one. Those chickens are so funny. There's a little hole in the fence. I'm not sure who first started that hole. At times, Lisa and I have widened it so the dogs wouldn't poke their eyes out on it. And then we closed it up again. And then Varmints opened it again. It's a regular highway between our ranch and the ranch next door, owned by, yes, Bobby Hill. Not that Bobby Hill. But they definitely use that spot as a, well, that's the main way they cross between the two properties. The demonic bunnies. Run away! That's a coyote. Rare glimpse of a coyote. I get a footage of a coyote maybe once a year. And that was that year's coyote. This little lady is not real sure. It's like, I don't know if I want to walk in front of that tripod that wasn't there most of the time. A stately buck. Not very stately. Oh, and there's a ghost. That's definitely a ghost of a buck. A buck that has passed, one might say. Shoo, dear, shoo. Mean old man. Those are two really quick clips of them floating over the fences. They don't jump, they float over the little barbed wire fence. These deer are really tiny, and I guess some people like venison, and I certainly understand hunting, but I don't do it because I don't like the blood, to tell the truth. The blood and guts, I've done it. I decided I prefer my meat in cellophane in the cooler department at the store. I'm a wuss. There's the roadrunner. Not very fast suddenly. And I think we close here on the old man and his young, sweet doggies. The end. Or is it only the beginning? No, it's the end. Thank you.